Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the Papa Joe Show where Papa Joe knows. I am your host, Papa Joe, and I am joined today by the Economic Ninja. What's going on, man? How you doing today?
What's going on, man? How are you doing? I just coming to you from my really nice, luxurious house.
I'm coming from the woods.
Sweet. I'm a woodsman.
I'm doing really, really well. I'm just trying to keep my head up, trying to keep going, trying to push forward. Got so many irons in the fire and having a lot of fun doing it. And it's just the way it is, man. What you got? I was gonna say you've been all over the place. I think, right? You had different conferences and stuff.
Yeah, I've been burnt out. I'm going to take a few weeks off, reset. My mind is completely blown and I'm stressed out. I'm closing up a couple of businesses right now because a couple of other ones exploded. And so it's like having to pivot.
Nice.
Very, very
Not a
stressful
bad
time
thing.
in my life. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah,
what do you
exciting.
want to talk about?
So I want to talk about what's going on in the current housing mess, the debacle that seems to be coming around the corner. I kind of did my show earlier today. I touched on it a good bit, but I also tied it into some of the inflation stuff that's going on with
Nice.
the Fed, and then tied in some stuff that's coming down the pipe from the job sector, if you will.
Yep.
As we have seen in the past, every time they raise rates, jobs, they say, have to be cut, and then that's one of their indicators that they look for. It's like, okay, great, here comes the job losses, and that's not going to be fun for anyone. And a lot of that happens when you start to see you got inflation, but then you have the deflation that starts to happen, right?
Yeah.
That's just like, and all of a sudden it flips on its head, and companies just die completely, gone because of that. So yeah, those are some of the stuff that's going down there. I've got actually, I forgot to share my screen. I am not as professional as some people.
You're definitely more professional than me, sir.
Housing sector shows early signs as warning signs for 2008 collapse. Experts say, yeah.
Can I jump right in on here?
Yes, please.
All right. So the term around the corner that you said earlier is a great concept or a theme, because we that are watching things happen right now, it's not around the corner. Housing is collapsing. That news article right there that we're getting close, it feels like 2008. No, it isn't. We are in 2006 as far as home sales are collapsing because interest rates were rising. Adjustable rate mortgage, ninja loans, things like that are firing off on all four cylinders. The volume of houses selling, like I said, collapsing, and sellers are clueless. They are actually getting angry because they are frustrated that, wait a minute, why isn't my house sold yet? I thought this crap sold in like 2 days. It's the psychology. And it doesn't matter whether we talk about real estate, whether we talk about the auto industry right now, or any other type of economics. There's this thing called a time lag that people don't realize. And what that is when everything stops, and we've already seen home sales stop. I mean, 30-year mortgages at 8%. What's happening now is the time lag between the people that are trying to sell and go, oh crap, I'm in trouble, to when they go, oh, we're crashing. I should lower my house more than 10%. I will do that. And then it's his neighbor does, oh crap, Bill lowered his house by 10%. We better lower it by 11. And then down the street, Sally, 12%, and so on. And you have that snowball effect. We're in that time lag. So you have a lot of people in the comment section like, I don't know what you're talking about, Ninja. The auto dealer's full. And I mean, they don't have much inventory and they're not lowering the price. Well, it's because they paid too much for that car and they're not going to lose money until they go, oh crap, we got to close our doors if we don't liquidate that car for pennies on the dollar right now. That's that time lag. And that's an exciting place to be. That's why I've been pushing the side hustle courses, or just, you're not going to buy a course, just start a side hustle, because you've got to diversify, because you're absolutely right. Companies are about to start laying off in droves. We've already seen it in the mortgage industry. We're already seeing it in real estate. You're going to see it even bigger in tech, and automotive has already done that. Like 2 years ago, they didn't have enough inventory to sell, so they laid everyone off. They're still in the same boat. So my point being is that when you see that happening, the stock market's going to take a big hit, because now everyone's going, oh crap, there's another time lag. A bunch of people have lost their job today. Well, how long do you think those numbers are going to take to hit Wall Street? Probably about 90 days, because they're going to stop spending tomorrow.
Yeah, man. So you're saying the stuff around the stock market, I've been saying for years, not years, for as long as my show's been on. It's been a year and a half now, I guess, whatever. That all of the money will end up going into the dollar as fiat. And since inflation's a hidden tax, they will quickly try to figure out where to put that money to store their value. And that's going to be gold, silver. And then I think it's going to be in cryptocurrency, because the reason I say that is because the gold and the silver piece, it's at 100% premium right now. Like, I mean, I went to go get some the other day at 100% on the. I'm like, whoa, okay, that's interesting. That
Yeah, you talk
happened
about
really,
Eagles,
really quick.
American Eagles.
I was just trying to get junk silver. It was
Oh,
at a
gotcha.
local shops around here.
Yeah,
I'm going, this is nuts.
junk
And then
silver is the barometer for how tight the physical market is because everyone runs to junk because it's the cheapest. So when people have
Yep.
fear, the fear trade moves to junk because it's the cheapest to get your hands on. And it's literally like a guy that only puts $10 in his gas tank because he can't manage his money right. When he goes to the coin store, he can only buy a quarter or a dime or a half dollar. So
Sure.
that
No,
literally runs premiums through the roof.
I try very hard to get as much as I possibly can, as often as I can, just as a store of value more than anything. But it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I wonder if people are going to start running into the crypto market just because they won't be able to get their hands on anything. And that's kind of where I see things going from the dollar
Yeah.
into crypto. But that's an entirely different type
Yeah.
of scenario, I think, that'll end up happening. But, you talk about side hustle, man. Before you and I met, and a lot of people don't realize it, I had started a company. And I
Oh,
started to do a side hustle of my own. That's what I did with Aster Blockchain Consulting, right? And it's
yep.
around crypto, right? But
Yep.
it's also blockchain stuff. I have projects that I've got going on that are blockchain in nature, but some of them are crypto in nature, and some of
Yes.
them are infrastructure in nature and stuff like that. So when you're saying that, people really need to listen to what Ninja's been saying. Y'all need to figure out how to quietly quit, get
Yep.
out of your jobs, get
Yep.
into your own stuff, because realistically, the whole reason I started that is because of some of the stuff Ninja's been saying, guys.
Nice.
You need to figure out where the economy is going to be next. You need to figure out what your niche is, and you need to figure out how to get some sort of service, some sort of product, some sort of something that is going to actually make not just you money, but you're going to be able to go and take that money that you make and provide for other people, because you're going to have people in your spaces that are going to need help. And that's the whole point of me doing the blockchain stuff.
Yeah.
There's a big need in that. Just like the internet, right? When the internet came out, there's nothing that we do in our lives that the internet doesn't touch now. There's no
Yeah.
gas in the pump without internet. There's no payment without that. There's no food on the shelves in the grocery store without the internet. There's nothing you're in your life that doesn't touch the internet in some way, form, or fashion. There's just not. Even when you go to the bank to get cash out, there's an internet transaction that takes place.
Yeah.
So there's a wave coming with blockchain technology, and that's why I did that. Trying to meet the world where it's about to be.
Yeah.
But you're talking about this stuff with the housing, and I call it the bedrock of the economy.
It is.
It
Because
is.
it's the
And when
greatest
it
wealth
starts to
effect
go,
on earth.
right, when it starts to go, you're going to start seeing that kind of stuff go crazy. I was going to show you this article. The housing market appears to be melting down rapidly.
Oh, I know Dave. He's a good guy.
Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
did not realize that. That's really neat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gold Seekers. Yeah. So he's a CEO of Home Builder, talking about how the home builders have stopped building homes. Net new homes are going away, guys and gals. When that happens, you're going to see a major drop. I've already seen all the area and around me, all that homes, they have the net new homes have all started cutting prices.
So I had a buddy call me yesterday. Have you ever heard of Lennar?
I have. They actually talk about Pulte here.
Yeah. So Lennar, as a matter of fact, I don't want to say who else, but I know Lennar for sure called my buddy. He has a company that designs homes and does all that stuff for them, for the big boys. He literally got a call from them, a panicked call, like, we need your help. We need you consulting us on how to make our homes more sellable. And they've already dropped prices 10% across the board. And I'm actually going to try and get on a call with them, do some consulting with the big boys on what to do, because I've got some killer ideas. But they're gonna have to change their whole business model, and it's gonna shock them. Yeah. But if they do it, they'll explode in value. But yeah,
you have to get back to me. I'd love to know about that.
Yeah,
I'd love to know what you tell them.
Super scared. You were talking about crypto consulting. I'm closing that business down just because I started it so long ago. Companies didn't want to get on the blockchain. They didn't want to be involved. Now they do, but I don't have physically the time. And I kept having to pull my partner with me and going, you need to learn more about the blockchain, about mining, all that stuff.
Send them my way, man. Send them my way. I mean, I'm not like hurting for stuff or anything, but it's one of those, like, why not?
Consulting is a great deal. I mean, I was a consultant for years, especially on personal finances, and it made great money. But what was really cool was to be able to, you obviously you're charging someone for an hour of your life, but for them, and I would just always say, I could guarantee you, I'll save you double my fee. and it'll change your life. And it was like every single time people were like, they started like running around telling everyone about me. And I'm like, oh crap, I didn't mean for this much business. But consulting is a great side gig. And I think a lot of people need to get into consulting because they're really cutting themselves short, not knowing that they have a business right in front of them with no startup fees. But yeah, you want to jump into real estate. Let's talk a little bit more about real estate because I'm super excited. I used to be a home flipper. I wanted to have a home flipping show, was offered one in 2003. We turned it down because of stress in my household. My wife was like, no, we can't take on more. And when we started the YouTube channel, I said, I'm going to get my home flipping show because I love blowing stuff up. I love having fun, but I love teaching people. And I've been telling people, we're going to see mortgage rates over 20%. And what blows me away is that people just can't even fathom that. But they can't fathom that they can admit, oh yeah, 1981, 82, yeah, mortgage was 18%. But those are different times. Like, yeah, you're right. They weren't as bad as today. That's what's different. Today's worse. There's more money been made, and the bond market's about to implode. So
it already is. I talked about that on the show earlier.
We're on 1929 bond market terms right now. Like literally, people don't realize how horrific this is. And what's scary is they don't realize, oh, the stock market's up. It's because people are freaking out, selling their bonds or moving into the stock market, pushing equities higher. And so and not only that, you literally have sovereign countries going, our currency's collapsing, so we have to sell our U.S. bonds because honestly, they're worthless now because I could just go and get oil right from Saudi Arabia because they walked away from you. And people don't understand how bad that is. And that selling pressure of bonds, just the narrative of that selling that's about to happen is pushing that 10-year even higher than what the Federal Reserve wants. And so they've lost control. We're going to see it get worse, and we're going to see mortgage rates over 20-25%. But here's the problem. Most people don't even know that a mortgage was over 40% in Russia in 2015. This can easily happen here. And if you think for a second you're better than Russia, you're not. You want to know why? They own natural resources, and a lot of them, more than we do, because they've been buying them and they've been exploring for them. So they're playing the long game, laughing at us, honestly, when we're trying to make a mockery of them. It's like being the only millionaire in the room and you start talking about personal finance and everyone laughs at you because they don't know that at home you've got a Ferrari or a Lambo, and you sit there and go, all right, well, I'm an idiot. And then really in the end, who's the idiot? It's the group of people that aren't listening to the successful people. Well, that's what's going on with politics right now. Governments are positioning themselves either the West and the East, literally like right out of the end of the Bible. The war between the West and East blows me away. I know people are like talking about the North and the South in the Bible, but literally we're watching the
forgetting about the East and the West.
Dividing. Yeah. And it's just the East and the West are battling financially right now. And this is absolutely monumental, whatever. My point being is this. Yes. I've got to get a little squirrel. I've got an idea. It has to do with what you and I were talking about, but I'm going to drag it with me. Anyway,
there you go.
To be able to show people that have been meek, right? Having an abundance of something, but not needing to use it until the time is right. When this crash happens,
will inherit the earth, man.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You're right. And it doesn't mean being a Christian. That doesn't mean believing God. That means being meek. It's just a fact. It's like, hey, if you reap what you sow. If you sow bad crap comes to you. People call it karma. It's just a law of nature, right?
Meekness is controlled power.
Amen. And the thing is that when this happens, we're going to come out and go, all right, guys, for all of you guys that have money, we're going to go and show you how to buy houses. You don't need the money for no money down because all these banks are freaking out. They don't have the money to just keep the houses. They got to sell a certain amount of them, and we're going to buy them all up. And then we're going to do these goodwill humanitarian movements that will be so massive that you will see a change on the earth, literally, mentally, and spiritually. And it will turn into prosperity that will ripple through the world like you've never seen before.
That's something that I'd like to connect with you on the back end of this. That's something that my wife and I want to be able to do, is to be able to pick up different houses and be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, we see needs from a ministry standpoint. We see needs just in general with friends, family, whatever. Your friends and family are going to be having, whether you like it or not, unless they own their home, there's going to be a very good chance that unfortunately they're going to be struggling just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And you and I have kind of done the same thing. Like, we've gotten rid of all the real estate and we're sitting on the sidelines right now. Like,
that's right.
We literally are living somewhere specifically just to sit on the sidelines and wait for this to actually happen.
Yeah. I'm living in the smallest house I've ever lived in. So I'm doing the same
here.
Man. Yeah.
Same thing. So it's one of those things. It's not a bad thing. You just you got to be willing to do right now, especially you got to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do, because later on you're going to have to do what other people are unwilling to do, and that's to give, right? We talk about things. God gives to those who are willing to give. He gives more too. If
Yeah.
he gives you a little bit, if you faithful with that and you're a good steward with it, he's going to give you more.
Yeah.
But he's going to ask you more of that whenever he does that. So it's not like it's not just for you to go do whatever, that kind of thing. And it's one of those things that people need to start thinking about with this stuff. It's not just, oh, I'm going to go buy 10 houses and I'm going to rent them out and blah, blah, blah. Like you talk about being a good landlord. Yes, you need to be able to take care of people too, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be times, I mean, when my wife and I were first married, there were times that that had the guy that we were renting from and whatnot, not been a Christian, not been an amazing person like he was. He's just like what you're talking about. He's an absolutely amazing guy. So yes, I would love to be able to do that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people who do too. So I would definitely want to connect with you whenever on the back end of all this and just figure out kind of.
Well, and I'm going to be on the
what that looks
forefront
like.
teaching everybody about that. But the problem is real estate right now is like a loaded weapon. And because I know interest rates are going higher, it's going to put more downward pressure on real estate. People are like, why aren't you coming out of the real estate course? I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Trust me. I can't wait to do that. But it's like handing a loaded weapon. All of a sudden you see prices go dip down 10% and you're like, oh my gosh, I can make this deal work. You're like, you can make that deal work today because your tenant has a job. You need to prepare for, like you were saying earlier, massive layoffs. These are already starting. They're going to get worse. And I'm telling you, right after the election, about 90 days after that election, oh my gosh, because they are going to have only 2 years to make this happen. And if you think a lot of stupid crap's happened since January of what was it, 2020? You haven't seen anything yet if they win. If they take over, you're going to see really scary stuff.
The banking system was set up by some very, very evil people.
Oh yeah,
very evil people. I mean, I'll tell people all the time: read The Creature from Jekyll Island. If you haven't read it, you need to read that.
Have you seen my video when I was in there with my flip flops and my shorts when I broke into the room that it happened?
Nope.
Yeah, it's one of my fewest viewed videos. It was when I went to go
send it to me. I'll watch it.
First interview, yeah, I will. It was with Robert Kiyosaki, and I snuck into that room. There, it's locked. I'm like, I don't care. So we just busted in. And I did a quick video in the room where it happened, and all these Federal Reserve chairmen have been there because I believe that that's a special room for special ceremonies because they know what they did at that meeting. So.
Yeah, man. It's funny. I was down there with a buddy at his bachelor party. We drove by the buildings and stuff. I was like, I wonder if I can go and get some.
You can walk right in. It's absolutely beautiful place, but it is absolutely wild. Yeah, Jekyll Island is a beautiful place to vacation. I tell anyone they should go and check it out and vacation there and then walk over. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely went and checked that out. It was a lot of fun. It was like, I was like, hey guys, you know what the significance of this building is? No one knew I was with. I was like, this is where the Federal Reserve was set up. They're like, no. I was like, there's a plaque right there that says it. Yes, it was.
I was actually there with G. Edward Griffin, not in that video, but that weekend, it was really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I'd love to meet him. I haven't met him or Kiyosaki. I'd love to meet them both. Talk about Kiyosaki a lot because that's kind of the mentality that my wife and I have around finances and stuff is going around building those residual incomes specifically. We want to be economically independent, right? So that's the idea. It's very different mentality than having a nest egg. I don't want a nest egg. I want income that I'm not having to spend my life for, kind of thing.
Exactly.
So she actually, my wife, had some questions for you. She wanted to know, because a lot of the listeners I have are millennials and Gen Zers and stuff like that. So they don't know what housing was like. Okay. They don't know what the crash was like, the 2005, 2004, 2006, 2007. They don't know what the leading up was like to 2008. So she was like, hey, get him to talk about that because no one knows really what that was like. You touch on it sometimes with your shows and stuff, but go into it real quick.
First off, I got to say,
what was the prices like? Yeah.
I love that Gen Z and millennials are listening to you because right now they're being seriously deceived by a handful of YouTubers. And these are YouTubers that have made literally tens of millions of dollars on social media talking about their real estate agents, just like me. And they went, and I even talked to one of them. I don't want to say who it was, but I had a $35 million deal when that person had 2,000 subscribers, didn't want to give the time of day, but I could see the direction they were going. And they do things like, hey guys, the market's crashing right now, but I'm still buying. Why? Because they get money every time you buy. Buy. You buy real estate through them, you buy stocks through them, and are just going to keep going. And the thing is that they don't get it. They see all of the famous people saying, we're crashing, and they report on it so they can get views, but they're leading them down a primrose path, and it's not good. So in 2006 was my last flip, and it literally stopped overnight. I remember it. It was the same thing with tractors and with trailers. It was like it stopped overnight. The phone stopped ringing. The deals stopped happening. And what happened was a breaking point because the Federal Reserve started raising interest rates at the end of 2003. And from 2003 to 2005, they were raising rates incrementally, pretty steady. It was called a dot plot plan. And they're just raising it quarter of a point each quarter. And they were only able to get that dot plot plan up to, because the Fed funds rate, I don't remember exactly what it was when we saw it at in 2001, the lowest, but they were able to get it up to 5%. And that pushed a mortgage up to 7.5%. Now, when I bought my first house, my personal home was 7.25%. All right. And then the lowest it got during the dip of in the wake of 2001, the dot-com crash and 9/11, we got to where a 30-year fixed was 5.25%. That was the lowest it did, right? When they started raising it incrementally, thus pushing up the 10-year bond and pushing up mortgage rates, we saw 7.5%, and that was it. Phone stopped ringing because by then they'd already had a blow up in adjustable rate mortgages in the usage of them and ninja loans. Now, when that thing stopped, it was because the adjustable rate mortgages had started to flip, because a lot of people got at arms down when the prime rate was at like 3.5%, 3%. And by the time it hit 5 and they adjusted to where you had to pay payments, it pushed the monthly price up exponentially, and they started diving into ninja loans, like negative amortization.
Yep.
And it literally stopped overnight. Now, I had by then liquidated everything. Back then, I only had 14 homes. So you watch these people, these YouTubers that are running around with 50 homes, 50 doors, 100 doors. Just it's not super impressive, because to get 50 doors in the 3 years ago in that interest rate lending environment was so much easier than getting it in the mortgage industry in 2002. Okay. So I just want to say that. And trust me, if my wife would have let me, I would have had 50 or 100 doors back then, but we only had 14. And so I had liquidated everything except for 3 properties: my personal property, a rental, and a piece of land. When my last flip, the phone stopped ringing and sales, the days on market extended. I knew I had to get out fast. And we sold that flip for only a $6,000 profit. Me and my buddy went to Vegas and Mexico for the weekend and blew the whole thing, because we knew that was the end, and we might as well have one big party, me and him, to celebrate our partnership. Well, because we'd worked together so well. And I said, that's it. It's done. Now, it took literally 2 years for that to shake out on a main street. And I wasn't, and I was even buying foreclosures in my flip business by 2005. They were already being foreclosed on because people were making bets. Yeah. And they went negam loan, and then they saw the right on the wall, and they were giving them back to the bank. So I was buying a couple of flips that were, bank owned. And man, you want to talk about amazing. Go buy a bank owned properties. There's no emotion. Like, I'll give you this. Like, we won't take it. All right, see ya. And then they call you like a week later. Okay, we'll take it. Like, cool. Like, let's just buy it. So sweet. No emotions. No, like, yeah, but my house has a new fence and it's been painted white. I'm like, I don't care about the color of your fence. I just want to buy the house and flip it. And so those are really cool, which gets me pumped about this next cycle. But the feeling of it just stopped. And I want people to understand, if you're Gen Z or millennial, just read the headlines. Sales stopped on a dime. Oh, yeah. And don't believe the lies like, oh, there's an uptick in sales in October or September.
No, there's nothing. I actually have I have 2 friends that go to church with, and both of them are mortgage brokers. And about in June, July, I asked one of them, was like, it's like, how's work going? He's like, it's been really stressful. He's like, just this week, we had a mortgage demand drop by 50%. I was like, whoa, 50%. Wait a minute. What? 50%?
June was a huge month.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually what people don't realize on the back end. Wall Street was pulling, because, I do YouTube, I do advertising for companies, right? And I've advertised before in the past, and I've done marketing for companies. That's my bailiwick. I do a lot of consulting for companies on how to become more successful. Dude, Wall Street pulled all of its money. Like, literally 80% of all Wall Street's ads budgets were pulled, including Google. Google laid off a bunch of people in June. because of the fear in the market when that that mortgage rate went up, because they know the psychological damage it just did on the human psyche. Because
that's what he said. It was all psychological or emotional. I was like, no, there's more going on, man. He's like, oh no, it'll be okay. I need to go talk to him again, see if he's
and that's when a mortgage hit 6%. It's now 8%. So how's it going? Yeah, talk to him again. And next video we'll do it and see what he's saying, because now there was a flurry just recently of buying activity or refinancing. And I talked to my mortgage friend. I said, you know what that means? And she said, they're hurting for money. I'm there's no reason why you should refinance from a 5% to an 8% or 7.5%. It's because you are hurting financially. So that was the next wave that we started seeing back in 2007, when people were tapping into their home equity, whatever was left, to live on. And you're seeing that right now. And the thing is, they're lying to you if they tell you, if you don't do it now, you're never going to be able to buy. And I'm telling you right now, that is from a greedy, selfish person, either a real estate agent or a mortgage broker. And I've owned 2 brokerages. I've been a real estate agent, worst agent in the world, because you only make money. They only make money if you're convincing them to do something they probably don't want to do. And I'm going to tell you what, the crash of 29 was not the end of the world. 2008 wasn't the end of the world. The dot-com crash wasn't the end of the world. Weird. We're seeing this. Oh, weird. 1981, not the end of the world. 1987, not the end of the world. But the thing is those that are prudent and patient and meek will benefit from this.
Yep, that's kind of what I was trying to just figure out what it was like. We're there now. I mean, this time around, we've got the internet. We've got more people talking about it. I feel like there's more interest around this type of stuff. And I really wonder if this time around, if it's going to be as fast as it is, because I'm not the only one my age who's sitting on the sideline doing this. There's a lot of people like me, like you, that haven't even gone to buy their first home yet because they're waiting for the next drop. Well,
how old are you?
They see it now. They're talking about it. We'll talk about it offline, but actually, you know what?
I was probably your age when I went through 2008. That's why I asked, because I'm 46 right now. I was, that's some fast math, but I mean, I was about, 33, 32 when that was happening. And that's why I love watching Gen Z and millennials on this show right now and learning about this, because I was there. And the problem is there were very, very, name a YouTuber other than Robert Kiyosaki, and I'd be shocked if he was around talking to you about real estate now, and he was doing what I was doing back then. There's nobody.
Probably not.
There's
that I found no.
Yeah,
that I found no. I do take time, and I learned. I watch Kiyosaki stuff. I watch your stuff. There's a couple other people that I pay attention to when it comes to things. Other than that, there's not really anything. I mean, I'm been in the crypto space since almost the beginning. So when I listen to other people in the crypto space, it's more along the lines where it's like,
oh, I wish I did that.
No, stop. That's not.
I wish I would have been a billionaire now if I would have been in crypto in the beginning. I can't.
Hey,
I've ran the numbers just on what I bought.
Look, the Lord didn't want me to have that type of lifestyle because I couldn't handle that kind of.
I know exactly what you're referring to. Yeah.
I walked off cliffs that people didn't have to. Like, I lost hard drives with thousands of Bitcoins on them. I sent friends. I wanted to see, get this. I wanted to see how many I could send all at once to a friend of mine. I sent 5,000 to a friend just because, just to see. And I don't even know if he still had, he probably didn't even have them anymore. It was one of those scenarios where it was just kind of like, I walked off all those cliffs. It was, yeah. And the Lord didn't want me to have that. I would be a different person. I would not be the same person.
And the thing is, I'm now just stepping into my calling. And the thing is that I know those hard feelings. I know what it's like to have like literally hundreds of thousands. I mean, like 600,000 stolen from you, like that. And you're like, that hurt. And those built me to who I am now, which is exciting because we're getting ready for the greatest opportunity on earth, because Bitcoin's going to crash. It is, because it's so tied with derivatives on the Wall Street and all that kind of stuff. But that's going to make an amazing opportunity to buy, because, most people don't even know what a crypto derivative is, or let alone what hard storage is.
So I think that you're not wrong on that. I think it's going to be a very fast, like it'll be maybe a day wick or a week wick that'll be down, that'll drop with everything else. The reason I say that is because if you look at the on-chain data, so go to Glassnode. If you pay attention to the stuff that's there, the reason I say that is because realistically, we are going to start seeing some crazy stuff happen within all of the derivatives, the paper stuff that's exchanges. They're going to disappear because they have no liquidity, and people like myself holding on to what we have.
Yeah, I
So with
completely.
that, man, how can people find you real quick and whatnot, and then we can we'll kind of drop from there.
Just type in Economic Ninja online. You'll find me everywhere. You'll find some haters too. They're always fun to watch because I'm going to be honest with you, they don't go anywhere. They don't grow, and it's almost weird. Like you just figure out, like, oh, you reap what you sow. If you sow hate, you get hate. So you find those guys. They're awesome. Give them a little love, and then yeah, I'm all over the internet.
Fantastic. Well, Ninja, thanks for coming on the show. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you do that. And yeah, we will I'll be right back with you and we'll talk to you later. Be
Well,
blessed.
see you guys.